Welcome to another video tutorial. As we mentioned in episode 2 part 1, the first step in setting up a computing environment is to set up Elastic MapReduce cluster in Amazon Web Services. The instructions we provide in this tutorial are similar for Windows and Mac users. Let's start. First, we need to set up an AWS account. Search for AWS and click on Amazon Web Services Sign Up for a free AWS account. Click Create a Free Account button and fill up the form and follow the instructions. If you are an instructor or a student, you can go to AWS Educate and click there. No matter where we are coming from, we all will land in this login page. Go ahead and click Sign In to AWS and then AWS account in the upper right corner. Click AWS Starter Account. And the account status will indicate how many credits we have left. AWS Console will send us to Amazon Web Services. The very first thing that we need to do at this stage is to set up an authentication key which will serve to connect our computer to the cluster via SSH. To create an authentication key, we use EC2 services. EC2 is an abbreviation for Elastic Cloud Computing. To reach EC2 services, we can either search in the box or simply click EC2 if we have recently visited the service. Here we look for key pairs on the left pane. Click Key Pairs. Click Create Key Pair. Here I can choose the file format. It can be a PEM or a PPK. PPK is for Windows, PEM is for Mac. So here I'm going to choose the name for the key. My new key. Click Create Key Pair. Here I will be asked to save the key on my computer. Notice that I'm saving in Downloads. Also notice that the format is certificate, so the extension in fact for my key is going to be CER. Click Save, and you'll notice my new key listed here. Now let's go to EMR. Search EMR and click EMR Services. Here are the clusters already created previously. I'm going to create a new cluster. Create Cluster. Go to Advanced Options. Here you choose the software configurations that you plan to use. For example, if you are using Spark in that session, make sure Spark is selected. So based on what you'll be using, you select the respective software. Click Next. Leave everything by default. You may decide to choose the volume size, or you keep the default value. I'm changing it to 20. Click Next. Now we come up with a name for the cluster. Let's call it My New Cluster. Next. In the drop-down menu, let's select My New Key, the key that I just created, and click Create Cluster. While the cluster is being provisioned, the status will change from starting to running to waiting. While the status is changing, we need to set up the cluster to allow for SSH traffic. To do so, we click Security Groups for Master. So click on the Security Group ID and make sure that SSH is already listed. So I already have it listed here, but let me go to Edit Inbound Rules. And then I'm going to remove them just so I can demonstrate how to add an SSH. So you can see that there is no SSH connection. So once you click the Edit Inbound Rules and the new rule, make sure that you select SSH. In the CIDR blocks, choose 0000-0. Save the rules. So we have created the cluster. We have set up SSH. Now we are waiting for the cluster to go into a waiting mode. Notice the SSH rule is added here. So go back to EMR, and we can see that the cluster is still in the starting mode. Here is the starting mode. Here I am going to pause the video and start the recording again when the status has changed. For example, now I am back and the status is running. Pause again, start again, and you'll see that the status is waiting. So the cluster is ready for our access. In the next tutorial, we'll learn how to access the cluster via SSH. These instructions are different from Windows users and Mac users. So if you are a Windows user, you need to follow Episode 2 Part 3A. If you are Mac user, you need to follow Episode 2 Part 3B. I'll see you in the next video clip. If you want to learn more about big data analytics, subscribe to this channel. Also, follow me on Twitter at Professor Benny or join my LinkedIn network. You can always email me with any questions.